Dave coming? Anyone heard from Parlin?
He kept telling me last night it was at 2:30, but I kept.
It actually, on your website, it says 2:30.
But on
Send him a text. Here, I'll call.
the first email I sent out said 2.
Anyone heard from Parlin?
We discussed, they were gonna discuss the budget, and then 2:30 is gonna be regular meeting, but then we combined it all into.
Oh, you know why?
They're two separate meetings.
Send him a text. Here, I'll
This is it.
Maybe you got it mixed up.
But on your website, that's why I said I noticed that it was right.
Hey.
It's right.
We're waiting for you.
I did get
You go
one.
down, it says 2:30.
Okay.
Just one. One last night.
Yeah,
You have access to all this right
Oh.
now. And the video anytime we need to, so we can do it ourselves now. And being on
Just
YouTube,
one.
we can add it before, it doesn't matter when we add it.
Hey,
Right
John,
now, because
should've been in the
that's the
corner
big
where we
problem,
had
having Chris Potter's.
guys been pulling on there.
Tell me about show up.
Other
He's
stuff,
gonna-
there's that.
he doesn't think we don't need to do it.
You understand any of it?
Half an hour.
Or, yeah,
Oh.
we'll just do it live to you.
How'd it go? How'd the meeting go? Okay. Meeting go okay?
Yeah, I want everything right away, you know, they want all your commitments, and your tax exemptions and everything, and when are you guys gonna be ready?
Easier for him.
When are you gonna build it? What are you gonna build it? Oh, we're a couple months away. Well, then call me in a couple months. You know, it's like, oh, and they go on about the orientation of the building, because of the religion.
Oh,
It has to be like 2 degrees off northwest. The toilets have to be oriented 3 degrees off northwest.
What? Because of the religion?
Do religion, it's called architecture. Everything is based on karma and position.
right.
So you have to have, you gotta have the windows in a certain place and bathroom centered somewhere. It's just, that's just the way it is, yeah.
You guys are live, so we're gonna stop.
Okay, we're live. Go ahead, Sam, you'll be right here.
Time is 2:05. The date is October 1, 2020. I'm Sam Naska. I'm the chairman of the City of Hornell Master Development Agency. I now call this meeting to order. Present. is myself, chairperson, Dave Parmalee, vice chairperson, Dave, Ed Flights.
He's not here yet, so.
He'll be here.
Financial officer, John Carbone, secretary, John Buckley, assistant secretary. Also present at this meeting, Jim Griffin, executive director, John Dagan, agency counsel.
He's not here. Not here.
Not here. Absent. Barbara Parrott, as administrative assistant. Margie Frangillo, administrative assistant. John Hogan, executive consultant. Chris Potter by Zoom. First order of business, we do have a quorum to perform and conduct business, official business. First order of business. Secretary's report, John.
I'll accept the motion to accept the secretary's report.
Make the motion. 2720.
Yeah, the minutes of 8/27/2020.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by John Buckley, second by Ed White. All those in favor, any questions? Questions on the secretary's report? No questions. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That action passes.
No John Day, just arrived.
Also include John Dagan as being present. Treasurer's report, Mr. Flags.
In your packets and as well as in your email was the last reports. So if there's any questions, if not, I will entertain a motion to accept the reports.
The treasurer's reports in your packet. I'm assuming you had an opportunity to review it. Motion's on the floor to accept. John Buckley, second. Questions? Any questions on the treasurer's report? Here is not. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Treasurer's report is approved. Committee reports, audit committee. Mr. Carbone.
In August, we wrote checks out of the operating account in the amount of $31,004.86. Any questions?
Pardon me?
Questions?
Motion to approve, motion John Buckley, second Dave Parmalee. Questions on the financial audit committee report?
Audit committee's report.
Yes, that's
Fund.
audit committee. Questions? No questions. All those, roll call vote. Mr. Buckley,
Yes.
John Carbone,
Yes.
Dave Parmalee.
Yes.
Ed Flights,
Yes.
and Aska, yes. That audit committee report is approved. Personnel committee, Mr. Parmalee, do you have anything on your to report?
No, I do not.
Nothing to report. Governance committee, we're gonna do a review of the BAAA and para later on in this meeting. And we'll get to that in due time. Executive director's report. Jimmy?
The executive director's report really is to bring to your attention, Sean, I'm going to ask you to pass a resolution agreeing to be the lead agency for the EDA grant. Sean's been working on that for 2 days, getting the EDA grant put together. That's for the Austin project in our
Hey, Griff, for the sake of the media and whoever happens to be watching, could you explain who the EDA is?
I'm sorry, yeah. We're going to be applying to the federal government, to the U.S. Department of Commerce, let me pull it. The Department of Commerce, Economic Development Administration, federal government, for a grant of, we're looking for around $4 million to do site work up at the Shawmut Park. And that would match with the $680,000 that the IDA agreed to borrow from Street Act to do site development up in the Shawmut Park. We will be presenting, if you approve it, we'll be presenting today a preliminary application to EDA. And the value of the pre-app is to get it into the queue today, because the start of the federal fiscal year is today. And so it'll be one of the first ones. And in dealing with the people in Philadelphia, Ed Hummel, Ed helped us with another project we did down in the South Yards. And he very encouraging, helped us out with it. And as they say, Sean's been doing the yeoman's work getting the grant application put together, or at least the preliminary. So what we're going to be asking you for today is a resolution authorizing the IDA to take the lead agency status for this project. And it, let me pass these around. I thought you already had. So it's simply a resolution declaring the intent of the City of Harnell Industrial Development Agency to act as lead agency for environmental review pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act. All of these projects, whether they're federal or state, still have to pass State Environmental Quality Review Act and the state regulations. So this authorizes us, the staff, to go ahead and continue down the process of applying for $4 million. Anybody got any questions? For, you know, and the whole grant is going to be contingent upon us having a project up there. So this is, you know, this will be matching money. Our money that we've already borrowed will be used either with or without this. I mean, we've already decided that if we don't do the full site, we're going to do a portion.
Right. When you get the grant application submitted, you know, we get it into the queue. Do you have an idea of what the review timeline is? Any idea?
We're talking, is Sean in there?
Yes.
Oh, he's on that with it now. My best guess is it's probably one of the requirements that we have to do through EDA is apply for a number, and that could take up to 60 days. We're looking probably at 60, 90 days. And that'll kind of coincide with, I think, everything else. You know, it's not going to put us behind the 8 ball. Sean, we're talking about the resolution to act as lead agency.
Yeah.
We've gone through it, and John asked a question about the length of time that it might take, and I said, well,
This is just an intent to file a resolution, because once you officially accept that status, you have 30 days to make all your contact with affected parties. So we didn't do that. We're saying intent to think that, because we're gonna have to file our application, and we just want them to know that we're gonna follow through with it. This is just a preliminary application.
Yeah, my question to Griff was, once the application is submitted, do we have an idea of what the timeline is for the applications to be reviewed?
According to, as far as the review and stuff like that, well, once an official application is we're in the queue, so we'll save in our place. He said it would be up to 90 days.
Okay.
You have to file for a number, right?
Yeah, in fact, I've been doing it for the last 2 days. I'm on the last page. And so I was on the last page and I was waiting. I had to get some information from Margaret. She went to lunch and I come back and the session was timed out. And now I'm waiting to get back in.
So does this time frame coincide with Alstom's plans? I mean, that 90-day time frame that you're saying it'll take, is that okay with what Alstom?
Well, you know, that would, they're gonna have to make a decision.
Yeah, we can't.
Yeah.
We're doing it.
We can't control every
Yeah, no.
aspect of it.
We're doing it as fast as, we're trying to stay way out ahead of it. That's why we did the borrowing of the money and everything. And we're doing this, we think we're way out ahead of them. You never know, you know, so it's one way or another.
If they want, you know, this assistance to do some of this work, you have to wait to get approved before you can begin. It's like any other program or state program. So if they want to go before then we'll just go with what we have in hand, the 680,000, do what we can and call it a day.
But you also can take parts of it that they're not gonna,
Yeah, we can remove it from the.
remove parts. In other words, if they go ahead and do some of the parts that are in this grant application, we pull them out. They won't do it all, for sure, so, but hopefully we don't have to do that.
Yeah, so we've had those discussions.
Yeah.
And they're aware of it. So if you start, you know, we can accomplish whatever we can accomplish, and that's part of the grant comes out then for like further infrastructure improvement that we stay in.
Okay.
They, at Hummel said, it's easier to take it out than to
Try
try
to
to.
put it back, put something new in.
Yeah,
I mean, and how sure is Alston? I mean, do we know what they're
We won't know until they make a decision.
we don't know. We haven't,
they're basing that on?
we haven't a clue. We're just trying to stay.
Trying to get our ducks in a row in the meantime, so we're ready for it.
Project to fit this grant
Maybe,
later.
maybe. Maybe. We're still in, you know, we're in limbo. I mean, until they, and they're in limbo until they get a contract. So we're in limbo. We're just trying to stay out ahead of it in the event that everything falls into place. They get a contract, they want to build, we're doing it. If we started on the other end, we'd be way behind. So that's why we're.
Yeah,
trying to stay ahead.
I guess the question being, if there isn't an Austin project, we'll go ahead with the shovel-ready improvement. Yes, it's our intent all along.
Right.
We'll go ahead with the shovel-ready improvements and for maybe for future development.
Sure.
So that would be, you know, you would have another arrow in the quiver if this project doesn't proceed. You have a real building-ready site. So it's, you know, it's not a bad situation to be in. But also very sensitive about even talking about the project. Because last time when we had a meeting, I got my comeuppance because we talked about it.
Well, we don't know, they don't know, you know, we're trying to stay out ahead of it, that's all I can tell you, and, if they have a project, fine, if they don't have a project, fine, we have one way to go if they do, one way to go if they don't, so, you know, we're ready both ways, and, I think we're in good shape for that
Yeah.
position.
Laying the groundwork.
Yeah, yep.
Okay, you've heard the parameters of the resolution. Basically to apply for a $4,045,000 EDA grant. We'll fit the project later on. Motion put on the floor, motion by John Buckley, second by Dave Conley. Any further questions relating to this? Questions? Roll call vote. Buckley,
Yes.
Carbone,
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Flake,
Yes.
Mr. Nastly, yes.
Okay, that's my report. I guess the next order would be the
The budget.
IDA budget, which you have before you. This is the latest and greatest to date proposal for budget. This is for the IDA budget for January 1. It has to be submitted to the state this month. It has to be submitted 90 days in advance. That's why we're doing it now. We have had discussions with board members and we've responded to discussions on it. There's not much change. The big major changes is we have cut substantially traveling conferences because with COVID, we're not doing any travel or any conferences. So those are that's really the major ones. We-
Well, we're doing them, but we're doing them.
Yeah, Zoom.
Another one.
Yeah, we're doing them and
We're trying to keep up with our educational requirements as well. We're doing it by Zoom.
we will be doing the IEDC conference too. Marty, talking about this morning, the IEDC conference, we're all registered for that. And we're talking about having Zoom meetings here in the boardroom from them for the 2 days. So it'll be on here all the time. And you will all have schedules of which conferences and which sessions are being held. And you can either pull it up on your own, which Marge just sent to you, or you can come in here and sit and see it on our channel. So there's 2 ways to attend that.
Got highlights you want to point out on the budget?
The only other change in the budget is basically to sort out our agreements with the city, that we will, the city, as we know, have been partners with us all along. And a lot of stuff, what we're doing is dividing out the support that the city provides for our properties, mowing lawns, doing everything that they've already done, and then separating the government services, which we use the city all the time. We use them for mapping, we use the Department of Public Works. I think we listed the fire department, the police department, the planning department.
Oh, the assessor's office, yeah.
Well, the mayor's office.
All the time.
Right, all the time, yeah. So what we're doing is we split them off, and then the city will just bill us on a regular basis so we can keep track of what those are. So that's the only major difference I see in that.
This honor on the Zoom will provide you with a copy of this, and you can pose any questions you might have to Mr. Griffin or any other staff member.
Okay,
Just put it on the floor. Motion by Dave Conway, second by John Holmes. Questions? All the time to ask questions if you have any for the issues in this budget. Roll call vote, Mr. Buckley,
Yes.
Mr. Carbone,
Yes.
and Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Mr. Farley,
Yes.
myself, yes.
I just have one comment that I want to thank the board members. We've had a lot of discussions on different items. And I think we've come to good agreements on all of them. And that's what we're here for. So I appreciate it and thank you.
Okay, moving on. Do you want to discuss issues with Public Authorities Accountability Act or the Public
Yeah.
Authorities Reform Act?
What I want is every board member has received copies of our policies and procedures. You have them. I know you've all read them over. I know you've had them under your pillow at night, reading them and everything and so on. We have not had any changes in the policies. We talked with Harris Beach, the attorneys up in Rochester, and they have one attorney who does nothing but this. And we talked with him, spoke with him directly 2 days ago, had him review it. He came back to us yesterday and said, I've reviewed them. There are no changes to be made. So really what we're going to do is we'll adopt policies and procedures as they're presented, because there are no changes and it will be the same as last year's. And the other part of it is we will have a session on sexual harassment, which will be given to us by our attorneys, and it'll be done in the next month or two. We have to do it sometime this year. And we will call you all in, let you know, we'll do You do it by Zoom or you do it by whatever, but we'll try and do it here and then Zoom if people want.
I might add that Harris Beach did include with their review, not only the changes in the Public Authorities Accountability Act and the Public Authorities Reform Act, but they also reviewed the directives put out by the Authority Budget Office, which are not part of the law, but they're directives put out by the Authority Budget Office. They've included those in the review of our policies and procedures, and they all conform with them, those directives. So that's included.
Just one other thing that comes up on a regular basis, and I want to remind everybody that the comptroller themselves have asked that all board members of all agencies in the state continue their education, continue learning about economic development. And we have done this religiously for several years with all of our board members by attending conferences that have to do with economic development, State Economic Development Council and the International Economic Development Council. And so we will continue that. We will continue it probably by Zoom for a while until we won't have any traveling to do. So that's the reason why your travel budget is down in anticipation.
And Marge keeps track of, our executive assistant keeps track of our educational accomplishments in a separate file for all of us. So anytime you want to look into that, you can request and look into your file.
That's all I have.
Mr. Hogan, you've given us the report on the EPA grant.
Yeah, it's in progress. We've got a lot of balls in the air. The most difficult part of the process, like I said, has been registering for the sam.gov, which has taken the better part of 2 days to get we got one more section to go. Because everything now, last time we did an EDA application was when Steve Dennis was there, that was in 2005. And it was the South Yards. There wasn't even a sam.gov or grants.gov. Everything was done by paper, even as 15 years ago. So I had a conversation with Steve today, and they know everything we did a full-blown paper application. This is something new to us, and once we're registered. So if the city of Cornell has a SAM number, which is good until next year.
Yeah.
So that has to be re-up. But our recommendation from Southern Tier Central is that we should probably be on separate platforms. And even though we're governmental entities, it's best that we're
Separate.
Yeah, separate, yeah. So that's what we're involved in, and
We got a good reputation with EDA in Philadelphia because the last one we did in the South Yards, they gave us an award as the top ranked performing grant in the Northeast, and gave us an $85,000 award for that. So they know our agency very well. So we got a good relationship with them.
Okay, good. Is there any further business before this meeting? There is not. Motion to adjourn. Motion John Buckley, second by Dave Parmalee. All those in favor? Opposed? The meeting is adjourned. I now call the regular meeting of the City of Cornell Industrial Development Corporation.
John, don't get timed out.
yeah, I know, that's why I'm going back.
Get back in there.
Yeah. I will.
Vice Chairperson and Flights, Chief Financial Officer, John Carbone, Secretary, John Buckley, Assistant Secretary. All Also, here today with us is Jim Griffin, our executive director of the corporation, John Dagan, the corporation counsel, Martin Parrott, administrative assistant, Marge Frangillo, administrative assistant. Chris Potter is with us by Zoom, and we have a forum to perform corporation business, first order of business. Secretary's report, Mr. Carbone.
I'll accept the motion to accept the minutes of the August 27th meeting.
Motion to replace the minutes of the 27/2020 meeting on the floor. Motion by Dave Farley, second by John Buckley. Any questions? If not, all those in favor, opposed?
Aye.
Treasurer's report for the month of August, Mr. Flake.
In your packets, as well as provided online and through email, we distributed the treasurer's report, and I will entertain any questions. If there are no questions, then I ask for a motion to accept the report.
To put the financial report for August on our treasurer's report on the floor for the month of August. Motion by Ed Flake, second by Dave Farley. Roll call vote. John Buckley,
Yes.
John Carbone,
Yes.
Ed Flake,
Yes.
Dave Farley.
Yes.
Sam Nasty, yes. Okay, committee reports, audit committee, John, for the month of August, your committee report.
We have nothing to report. No, we didn't write any checks or no.
Nothing to report. Okay, personnel committee,
We have nothing to report.
governance committee, nothing to report. Executive director's report, Mr. Griffin.
And they took out.
Financial.
No.
Nothing to report. Old business. IDC budget.
IDC budget is sent out to you. No changes.
Your green tab in the book, I believe.
On your head. Or you're on live TV.
Documented now, man. You can't even deny it.
There's gonna be a lot of mileage on that.
You want to comment on it?
We had no comments.
Hey, you all have it. It's in your book. You received a motion to put it on the floor. Dave Farley, seconded by John Buckley. Discussion on the budget of the Industrial Development Corporation for the ensuing budget year. We'll call vote. John Buckley,
Yes.
John Carbone,
Yes.
Ed Flake,
Yes.
Dave Farley,
Yes.
Sam Nasty, yes.
Same thing with Para and PAA compliance. They're all in your book. You received them. Again, we checked with our council. Bob Ryan up in Albany is their council on all this, and everything was fine. Required no changes. Therefore, we're not making any changes. So we just asked to approve the Para and PAA compliance information that we follow. Same procedures.
Those are the agreements we signed last night in the envelopes.
Pardon?
Those are the agreements we signed last night in those envelopes.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, motion to approve our review. Dave Farley, second by Don Carbone. Questions on the changes, which are none. Roll call vote. Don Buckley,
Yes.
Don Carbone,
Yes.
Ed Flight,
Yes.
Dave Parley, Sam Nasker, yes. Motion to adjourn. Motion by Dave Parley, second by Ed Flight. You got something good?
No,
Really fast for that adjournment.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.